Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the Lian Li PC-V2120 Case. Now this is a massive case box with a massive case inside of it. Lian Li always sends these cases with these plastic straps around them, but you need to cut them off. I'll do that. Case box itself has lots of pictures and features and specifications about the product all the way around. And notice that there's a couple of holes, one on either side, for lifting the case box. And that is very necessary for a case box this large. I will open this from the bottom, so I'll swing it upside down here first. Carefully cut the tape. Typical packaging material, styrofoam on either end, and the case itself is in a plastic bag. Now, put this upside down and lift the box off. Remove the styrofoam and the plastic bag. Looks like some stuff has fallen out here. Just some information sheets about more products, and as well as this product and the installation guide. Now, some companies might claim to have full tower cases, but in comparison to this, they're kind of like mid-tower cases. I mean, this thing is huge, which is great if you are looking for a very large full tower case. Now this has your typical Lian Li styling, which I love. It's all aluminum and it comes in a couple of different color options as well. At the top there are 3 panels. These can be removed if you wish to install optional 120mm fans. Also at the top is an external serial ATA port or eSATA port for USB 3 ports, as well as the microphone and headphone jacks. And there's a humongous door at the front. There's also ventilation all around the door on both sides, as well as at the bottom. That's to allow the front intake fans to pull in cool air. Now at the top right here, there are a couple of LEDs, one for power and the other one for hard drive activity. And note that there's a lock right here that's on the right side, and just use the included key to open it. Now this door can be configured to swing from the other side as well, and note that it uses 2 ball bearings to keep the door closed. There's one at the top and another one at the bottom. Also note that they have this seal running down all the way on the inside of the case. Also, there's acoustic foam here as well. There's a fan speed controller. You can adjust it from a low speed to a high speed, and this will adjust the speed of any fans attached to it. They include 5 external 5¼ inch drive bays, and each one of these drive bay covers doubles as a dust filter. Here's the power and reset button. And at the bottom, 2 140mm intake fans, and these fans do come with dust filters. And I should mention that all of the fans in this case are mounted using rubber washers to prevent vibrations. The left and right side panels are plain. At the back of the case, at the very top, is ventilation. They include more ventilation here, as well as having 11 ventilated expansion slots. They include a 120mm exhaust fan. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed, and at the very bottom is where a standard ATX power supply gets installed. Now note that there's lots and lots of thumb screws back here, but most of these actually attach the motherboard tray, which by the way is removable, so that's fantastic. But they have this very ingenious 1 thumb screw removal system for the side panels. Let me show you. Just unscrew this a little ways out, And by the way, this can be secured using an optional lock if you want to. And once you have it all the way out, you just pull. And then you can pop the side panel off. And another optional lock can be installed here to secure the motherboard tray. Now, not only is there acoustic dampening material at the front of the case on that front door, but each of these side panels also has this. So if you are looking for a case that has this material in it, or a silent case, well, this is a perfect option. Now, on the left and right side panels, they have this rubber, which is in a number of different places, and this is to prevent any kind of vibrations that you might get from either side panel. Now, they included this accessory box with this stuff in it. I open it up, and here they include a number of different items. This is like a box that you can put your screws and things into. That's nice that they include that, actually, so you can organize everything. They also include a USB 3 to USB 2 converter. This, by the way, is a mounting plate for SSI, CEB, EEB motherboards. They also include other things here like a clamp, as well as screws, motherboard standoffs, a speaker, rubber washers, as well as some PCI card holders and things like that. Now, this case fits a number of different motherboard form factors: HPTX, extended ATX, standard ATX, and micro ATX. This case on the inside is really spacious. You'll have lots of room to work in here, and you'll have no problem fitting all of your computer components in here. This is a perfect case for anyone who wants to have some kind of, hardcore computer setup. Like, for example, maybe you want to have 4 video cards. I mean, you've got lots of expansion slots here to do that. A perfect case for somebody in that, hardcore enthusiast category. Now, thankfully, the motherboard tray on this case is removable. The motherboard tray also has a large hole on it, and this is for the cooler's retention plate. There's also lots of holes on the motherboard tray, and note that each one of these has kind of like a plastic grommet around it, and that's so you don't cut yourself or the cables on it. And there's lots of space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel, so you can fit plenty of cables back here. It's important to get the cables out of the inside of the case, because not only does it look good, but it improves airflow inside of the case. They include this video card pillar. This can be removed if you take off 4 thumb screws, 2 at the top and 2 more at the bottom, and this is really necessary. You need to remove this when you're installing the hardware, but when you get everything installed, then you can put this back if you want to. You don't have to, but if you're installing a lot of video cards, I would recommend you install this and then use the attachments that they include to secure the video card, so it's not going to, move or shake out of place. They also include another 140mm fan with a grill, and this fan moves air to the back of the case. There's also another fan hidden, and that 120mm fan sits inside of a 3.5-inch drive bay cage, and actually 3 3.5-inch drives can be installed in this removable hard drive cage, and this actually occupies 3 5.25-inch drive bays. Now, if you need more external 5.25-inch drive bays, that's not a problem, because you can remove this 3.5-inch drive bay cage. You can install another 7 3.5-inch drives in this very large removable 3.5-inch drive bay cage. And by the way, you can fit 2 2.5-inch drives here. And if you notice, the holes for another 2 2.5-inch drives, for a total of up to 4 2.5-inch drives. The top 2 5.25-inch drives have a toolless design. Simply press here, swing it open, insert the drive, then snap it back into place. The other drives also have a toolless design using thumb screws and rubber washers to install on the drive and then slip the drive into place, and a toolless design on all of the expansion slots using thumb screws. Now the bottom chamber you can see has holes as well, and this is to route cables through. This bottom chamber houses the power supply and drives. Now, if the power supply is too long, then you can remove this 3.5-inch drive bay cage. And by the way, you can fit another 3.5-inch drives in this. There are 2 rests for the power supply to lodge on, and note that each one of these rests has rubber to prevent vibrations. Now you can fit video cards up to 360 millimeters in length, and by the way, you can remove this 140 millimeter fan if you want to. You can also remove this particular plate that it's attached to, so you can remove everything if you even want a little bit more space. With the right side panel removed, you can get a better idea of what's going on. Again, here's the cable management holes that are on the motherboard tray. There's also another cable management system right here. It's just basically a piece of plastic, and they have a number of cables now routed through this. Some of the ones that come down from the top of the case, you know, the USB 3, eSATA cables, and so on and so forth, as well as the LED cables and the power and reset button cables. At the bottom, there's a removable dust filter for the power supply's fan. They also include 4 wheels. The front 2 can be locked by pushing back. To unlock them, just pull forward. Now, each one of these wheels has rubber, and that's great to prevent vibrations. Also, to prevent the case from scratching the surface that it's on. Now, just to recap, at the front there are 2 140 millimeter fans intaking cool air. There are also another 2 inside the case. One is a 140 millimeter and the other one is a 120 millimeter, and there is another 120 millimeter exhaust fan at the back. Now, let's have a listen to the stock cooling. Right now, it's at the lowest setting. And now I'll adjust it to the highest speed. Now, what's not to like about this case, aside from the price tag, and that's to be expected from a case in this elite category. If you were in the market for a budget case, wouldn't really waste my time looking at it, to be honest. However, if you are a hardcore enthusiast with a few extra bucks and you want a true full tower case that's all aluminum, has fantastic features, and includes a removable motherboard tray, well, this would be it. And by the way, if you were looking inside of the case as I was reviewing this thinking, why, oh why, is the interior silver? Don't worry, because there are 3 different colors. There's an all silver, silver on the outside, and silver on the inside, if you like silver. There's a black model that's black on the outside and silver on the inside. And remember that there's no window, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot that it's silver on the inside. And there's an all black model available as well. Black on the outside and black on the inside. Overall, this is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care.